project has produced a point cloud federation that documents both the exterior and interior spaces of the basilica with millimeter precision, reaching the extraordinary figure of about 22 billion points. Particular attention was dedicated to two artistic masterpieces that underwent significant restoration interventions: Bernini's majestic canopy and the Chair of St. Peter, both documented with an unprecedented level of detail. The Baldachin by Bernini was subjected to an extraordinarily detailed survey, generating a point cloud composed of over 4 billion elements. This digital documentation allows us to virtually explore every detail of this spectacular, Baroque monument, ideally taking us 20 to 30 meters high to analyze details otherwise inaccessible to direct observation. Through an accurate study of the archival documentation, it was possible to identify and catalog the different structural components that make up the canopy, corresponding to the parts originally used during its construction in the 17th century. This historical decomposition has been faithfully replicated on the digital model, allowing the segmentation of the point cloud into individual objects that can be identified and analyzed separately. The creation of the point cloud of the canopy was achieved through a photography campaign of exceptional breadth, involving the acquisition of over 6,000 high-resolution photographs. All these images have been integrated into the digital platform and remain directly accessible to users. This integration allows for the visualization of extraordinary details, such as the refined carved rosaries at the base of the columns, or the expressive faces of the cherubs that adorn the structure. The quality of the images is such that it allows observation of the surface texture and characteristics of the bronze patina. To access any of the 6,000 specific photographs, simply click on the point of interest on the 3D model to immediately obtain the corresponding ultra-high resolution image. Being a complete 3D model, the point cloud allows the activation of multiple section planes: vertical, horizontal, and oblique. This feature enables in-depth analyses of every architectural and decorative detail, offering study perspectives that were previously impossible. One of the first practical applications of this digital model was the design of the scaffolding system needed for the restoration. The model allowed accurate design checks for interference analysis, ensuring the design of auxiliary structures in complete safety. Every detail and aspect has been checked in advance, ensuring that all intervention points are easily and safely accessible for the work of the restorers. The model also serves as a digital repository for historical documentation. Each identified component of the canopy has been associated with detailed information through specific modules, including historical photographs and archival documents. These data document fundamental aspects, such as the installation dates of the individual elements, the specific weight of the bronze used, and other relevant technical and historical information. Traditionally, diagnostic samples were documented by marking simple points on two-dimensional representations, accompanied by supporting photographs. Our innovative approach instead involves the direct indication of samples on the three-dimensional model, with the completion of digital forms containing all the data deemed necessary for each type of sample. Any images taken on-site are directly attached to the sampling point, creating an indissoluble link between the information and its precise spatial location. The system allows for the addition of any kind of extra information to the model. A significant example is the detailed survey of the head of an angel being attached directly at the point of interest and connected to the main model. The canopy preserves numerous graffiti made by restorers over the past centuries. A systematic campaign of collection and cataloging of all these historical marks was conducted. Each graffito was photographed, cataloged, precisely located, and uploaded directly to the digital model. Particular attention has been dedicated to the faithful transcription of the textual content of each graffito, making text searches within the database possible and ensuring complete documentation of the restoration activity carried out over the centuries. The digital model supports the insertion of annotations and graphic markups, allowing for systematic identification of all points subjected to diagnostic analysis. For each diagnostic point, a specific form is filled out for information collection, documenting in a structured way every single investigation conducted. The canopy features an extremely complex three-dimensional geometry that made traditional two-dimensional mappings problematic. The digital system has enabled the development of tools for direct segmentation on the point cloud of individual three-dimensional parts. This approach allows for the identification and mapping of specific elements directly on the cloud, such as the folds of an angel's dress, with a precision and completeness impossible with traditional methods. The mappings for material survey, deterioration, and other surface characteristics that were previously carried out on paper supports. They are now performed directly on the three-dimensional model thanks to advanced point cloud mapping tools. The project also included a significant intervention on the Clementine Dome, focusing on stuccos and mosaics. Before the work began, standardized thematic layers were defined for the mapping of deterioration and materials, ensuring operational uniformity among all the specialists involved. The documentation work is carried out directly on site using easy-to-use mobile devices like tablets, for example. Operators can access all the information available on the platform and proceed with mapping on ultra-high-definition photographs up to 8K resolution. Documenting with extreme precision the conditions of deterioration and material characteristics. The system displays complex sets of mappings for each architectural detail. Each mapping can have various types of supporting documents attached, additional photos of specific details of the deterioration, Excel spreadsheets, technical reports in PDF format or Word documents. The system also supports the insertion of voice messages recorded directly on site and documentary videos that illustrate the methods of executing specific restoration interventions. At the end of the interventions, a new complete survey of the restored elements was carried out, allowing a direct comparison between the conditions before and after the intervention. This comparative documentation is particularly evident in the case of the canopy, where the restoration results can be clearly observed. It is even more significant for the chair of St. Peter, where the differences between the previous and post-restoration states are immediately noticeable. This innovative project allowed for the complete and scientifically rigorous documentation of the initial state of these exceptional works of art, to follow the restoration phases step by step, and to certify the final conditions after the completion of the interventions. The result is a permanent digital archive that represents an invaluable wealth of knowledge for future generations of scholars, restorers, and art enthusiasts, ensuring the conservation not only physical but also digital of these masterpieces of world art.